Welcome back. In the first official meeting of the G20 member states, far beyond the member states countries, the Egyptian territories are hosting the official G20 meeting in Cairo from September 1st to 3rd. And we are very much delighted to have with us Nal TV's correspondent Ahmed Nader from the venue of the gathering. A very good morning to you, Ahmed.
Yes, exactly, Nirmi. Good morning to you too.
Ahmed, as I said, it's the very first time the G20 is gathering here or holding a meeting here far beyond the member states' territories. And it's focusing on food security, particularly in the developing or African countries. Tell me more about the theme of this gathering and tell me also about what's going on there in the venue of the summit.
Yes, Naveen, as you can see and as the viewers can see, I am, as you mentioned, at the end of the G20
Food Security Task Force third meeting, which is being held here in Egypt from the 1st and until the 3rd of September for the first time ever outside the G20 country. Or G20 countries, we are used to be having those meetings within the G20 countries, not as a guest.
This is the first time ever since the establishment of the G20 in 1999 for the first time in 26 years, and this means a lot for the weight of Egypt in terms of the economy and politics for Africa, for the Arab world, and for the Middle East, and more specifically under the tenure of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for the past 10 or 11 years, as we know that the G20 for this round is being headed by South Africa, and the event for today was coordinated between the Foreign Minister of Egypt, Dr. Badr Abdel and his counterpart from
South Africa, to be having Egypt as a guest, not for the first time. This is the 5th time overall in the history of the G20 meetings, and the 3rd time in succession. So this means that, of course, in past periods like in 2016, the G20 was headed by China, in 2019 by Japan, in 2023 by India, in 2024 by Brazil, and in 2025 by South Africa. So as I mentioned, for the past 10 or 11 years, Egypt has taken a lot of big strides towards more coordination between Egypt and between the other countries from the G20 countries. As I mentioned, we have representatives from different countries and from different parts of the world. As you can see behind me, I have spoken with the representative of Germany, and we could be having an interview after the meeting or after the G20 meeting was concluded for the day, but not before that, because they have a lot to be speaking about, to be talking about, to be, as you mentioned, they will be discussing the food security in the world in general and in Africa in specific, and this means a lot about the stature of Egypt in Africa as a weight, is it a big weight in terms of economy and politics in the African continent. And as I mentioned, this is not the first time for Egypt to be participating in the meetings, but it is the first time ever for any country in the world to be hosting the G20 meetings outside of the G20 countries. Nirmeen.
Ahmed, thank you very much for the detailed info, and we are going to have you all over the day to know more about what's going on in the G20 summit held here in Cairo for the very first time outside the G20 countries. And also, we are going to be waiting for the rich interviews you are going to have with valuable guests here in Cairo. Well, this was our correspondent, Nal TV international correspondent Ahmed Nader from the venue of the G20 meeting in Cairo.